No, you're right, just dangles in. But I haven't seen it yet, but I did see it. Definitely get as high as this. Yeah.
Alright folks, can you all hear me up there? Good. Now for some of the people internationals potentially on board here, if I do start speaking a little bit quickly and you don't understand, you let me know, because I've been told I've got a thick accent, that's all. So welcome to Yellow Waters folks, welcome to what I say is one of the crown jewels of the national park here. This is all a part of what is the Jim Jim Creek system here. So this whole area is actually fed by the water that falls on top of the escarpment there and then flows off Jim Jim Falls. And it usually takes a number of days for it to eventually reach the system here, but once again it'll come through these sort of very narrow channels here and then it floods all the way out through this zone here. So Yellow Waters is one of a series of billabongs or permanent water holes, if you like, in that system. So it extends all the way from where we are, goes out to Home Billabong just behind the lodge at Cooinda there, then out to Mardigal and then once again to Jim Jim Falls itself. It's about 70 kilometres along the whole stretch of river here. And this is known in the Gundjapni language as Narunga Gunjaba. And I'm not certain as to why it's called Yellow Waters, folks. I actually don't know. So it's theorised that it's a combination of both the aquatic plant life and also the tannins that come into the system via the floodwaters through the grasses and even the barks of the tree there. And as the sunlight hits it, it will reflect that slightly yellow water. And this is recognised as the traditional homes of the Mullumbai people. So they're the floodplain people. But while this area is or was considered a communal sort of area for the other clans / tribes in the area here, this would become, in the drier months of the year, one of the only sources of water for the people. Along here, if you do have any, and if you do have the way to, I have flax. He's going to come and poke. This is your starter. If it does again, you probably stay under now and you won't see it and make me look like a twit. He's just going to pop up somewhere on the left hand side of us here. These are very similar to the cormorants around here. They spend a lot of their time swimming around in the waterway here. And this one's going to make a fool of me by the look of it, and it's there, it's behind us there. Yeah, I know. We'll find one on the bank that's not being playing chicken with us so much. But that's a Gear Australian darter once again. We'll have to find you one in the open there so he doesn't run away on us. So we're shortly going to come through the little narrow channel just ahead of us here, and this will actually be the end of what is the Yellow Water billabong here, and it enters onto what is the South Alligator River. That's alright, we'll find our own. Yes, they did find a crocodile, but we're going to find our own. It's going to be bigger and better than that one. So as I mentioned, this is actually the end of the Jim Jim Creek and the Yellow Water system here. And it comes onto the South Alligator River here. While there are a few birds here, we're not going to stop through here, we're going to keep going because we've got the other boats behind me. Yep. That's your Nankeen Night Heron to the left, and then you've got your Darter once again to the right there, but once again I can't stop because the other boats are coming through. But that's alright, we'll have spares, don't worry. So the South Alligator River extends for about 250 kilometres here. It's one of the larger rivers in the system here. This is all fed once again by the fresh water here. You don't hit that tidal zone until you reach that about 50 k's downstream there.
I'm going to spin your money.
Yeah, we're going over, don't worry.
Water buffaloes are skinny. There, buffalo there. No. Oh, they buffalo there. There, can you see?
Alright, so we're just going to come around the corner here while we've spotted the buffalo there. We'll give a chat to them. This is quite typical of the Asiatic water buffalo here. They come out onto the floodplains here. Usually in the later evening period, they tend to hide right up into the tree lines and the thick tree lines even throughout the day. Now, this makes them incredibly hard to manage population-wise because once again you only get sort of brief periods where they're not hanging around. Yeah, so they are considered a feral pest, the buffalo, as you're probably aware. Yeah, it is.
There's a croc on the back.
So we're going to talk about the buffalo.
Oh yeah.
And there's another crocodile back there, but we're going to talk about the buffalo, and then we're coming, I promise you, we're coming back to the crocodile. There's actually another one up here. Let's go and say hello to this one in the water here, so before you all jump overboard because you're sick of me ignoring them. So there's one just in the water here, just ahead of us there. Not a bad specimen, that one. Yeah, he's ahead of us in the waterway there. He looks like a log.
That's huge. Dead ahead. It's huge actually.
So this is what you come here to see, and yes, I know I've driven past a few already, but this is what you come out here to see. This is your Australian, once again, your Australian saltwater estuarine crocodile. And he's one of a number of
Go right there,
crocodiles in the area here. This boasts a fairly heavy croc population here. No, it's not a jabiru.
What's the word?
It's a black-necked stork.
Let's try no.
The jabiru is a... there's another story to that. Crocodile first. Too many people asking too many questions.
Crocodile. It's very
Right.
long.
Back to reality, Jeff. So these not only represent something that's been around since the age of the dinosaur and even before that, but they also represent the largest reptile in the world here. So these guys can grow to lengths of over 6 metres. So to give you an idea, this boat's 12 metres, so it's about half the length of the boat for a really good sized animal. Now there have been reports of crocodiles being much larger than that. You're talking about animals. One that apparently grew to 10 metres that they shot up in Queensland there at one stage, but that's an unconfirmed report. because we never had any physical evidence of it. There's just a photo of one. Unfortunately, I can't follow him up there very well because the water gets a bit shallow back there. But this is a really good example of just how these creatures can move through the area very silently, in fact. So while this one's moving along quite a bit, they can just move without even making a ripple. And once it dives under the water here, you won't even have known it's there. So the apex predator in the area. And part of the reason they can move so silently is because of the ridges on their backs and the tail there. So the smaller ones are osteoderms and the larger ones are scutes there. But it creates its own sort of low pressure system, if you like.
What's this bird here?
Yeah, I'm just coming over to it. So once again, this is your black-necked stork. Somebody's said jabiru, and yes, every person in the Northern Territory calls it a jabiru. We've even got the town within Kakadu National Park that is called Jabiru and has this as the logo. But jabiru is actually a name of a stork that lives in South America there. So it looks nothing like this one, the black-necked stork. And it's Australia's only stork too. Bill on there is incredibly strong. It's actually capable of. You got a fish? Yeah, good work. Wow. He's got himself a barramundi there. That's crazy good. Oh yeah.
It's a barramundi.
No, he probably picked bits off it there, but that's crazy good. Do you realise that's the first time I've actually seen it catch a fish like that, believe it or not, folks? This year, of course. There you go. So that bill, once again, is incredibly strong, so you can, it generates so much force, it can actually break open turtle shells. And it's even capable of killing crocodiles too. We're not talking Goliath here, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, but Godzilla for a lizard form, if you like. But yeah, the bill is incredibly strong once again. And this is actually the female, this one.
It's a female, it's a girl.
And I can tell you that straight away. Because she has that bright yellow eye on her there, whereas the male has a completely black eye, and that's how you'll tell them apart.
They caught another one.
The fish already died?
Yeah?
What's it, Janet?
Oh.
Pulverise it a bit more.
Have it.
Oh, wow. Chop.
Making sure it's dead. It's a bit of a serial offender, this one. She's had a bad day. She probably, as I say, she's going to try and sort of break bits off it there and say, and then swallow it down.
That's cool. I need to get it through when it's through it. Try to get it while
The buffalo here are also interesting. So, as I said, they're a feral pest and they've been introduced into the area from very early on. So they brought them over originally as a beast of burden, but also as a food source in those early settlements there. But as that settlement failed there, the first one there was at Port Essington there, about 300 kilometres north of Darwin. 7 years it failed, basically because the disease got into the area to start with there, but also the remoteness of the area meant that they couldn't get supplies out in time. Yeah, and there's a grain salt with a crocodile up on the back there too, just while I'm looking at it.
it's tight.
He's got his tail facing us there. Not a big one. You can actually judge the size of the crocodile based on the size of his head. So his head is actually approximately 1/7 of his entire body length there. We'll spin you around.
Yeah, crocs have a go at the.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, that's a good segue into telling you that the buffalo do get preyed on by the crocodiles there. This small one's not going to have a go at it, but the larger animals definitely will.
It's tiny.
Um,
就是这么大。
You can actually age the buffaloes too based on the size of its horns there. So these ones sort of closest to us here, these will actually be the older cows, I believe. The base of the horn is thinner and the actual horn itself is much thinner too. Whereas on the big bulls there, it'll be much thicker at the base there. But they start off life there. These smaller horned ones there, probably in that sort of 0 to 5 year old mark there. And as the horn grows longer there, it starts to curl around the back of the head there. You're looking at an animal that's probably in that sort of 7 to 10 year period. And once it really starts to bulk up, you're looking at one of the really older animals there. So we do have programs in the area here to reduce the numbers, so they go out there and shoot them. And there is also a commercial operator that comes out here to shoot them for pet food as well. You're just not going to get them all. They're just very cagey animals. They go all the way into the tree lines, as I said, so they're often hard to find throughout the day. So you only get periods like this where you can come out and find them there at night. But it's a huge history on the buffalo there. They actually sparked a whole industry and industrialised the whole area on the back of the buffalo. So it started in about the 1840s with Patrick Cahill. Got Cahill's Crossing, famous Cahill's Crossing named after him there. And he pioneered the whole hunting method even. And he also established the Owen Pelly Mission on the eastern side of the river there. It was all done on horseback, so he'd go through the thick tree lines here. He'd actually shoot to wound, and then he'd hire the local indigenous people, the Bingan as they'll refer to themselves in the collective. So he'd hire the Bingan to come out and then finish off that animal, and they was taking them for the skins and the horns. They were trading at that point. And the whole industry ran till the 1950s, so you're talking over 100 years there, until eventually the cost of ammunition and the salt used to preserve the hides went up to the point where they couldn't do it anymore after the end of the Second World War there. But while they're semi-protected in the national park here, if they wander onto your property, you can do whatever the heck you want with them. But I'm just going to draw your attention here quickly. There's a tiny, tiny bird here just on the left-hand side of us here. So Dad should be around there somewhere. But you've got Junior sitting there at the moment there. You see that tiny little brown and white ball of fluff there. So he's just literally just on the left-hand side of the boat here.
Oh yeah.
So this is the Jacana chick, yeah. So this is your
To the shoulder.
home-crested Jacana.
那
小
你
These
小
are
的
birds they're sometimes referred to because they look like they walk in the water. So where's Dad gone?
我知道那个是啥，
He should
是
be
一个
around here
baby
somewhere.
的。
There's two seagulls over there.
There is. Well, I was going to show you the baby Jacana there to start with.
It's
I've got to spin you other guys around. Because this is actually relatively rare. You don't find the
One of the very
babies around very often.
has the long necks.
I'm not sure what's happened to Dad there. He's usually standing right there because he's highly protective of the chicks there. But having said that, this particular father hasn't done the greatest job in recent days because he had 3 chicks and now he's down to 1. Wherever it went. As long as I don't run it over there, I can't find it there now. Oh, there he is. He's just literally to the left of me there. Cut him off at the pass, Jeff. So they spend their entire lives up in the lilies, these guys. They eat there, they sleep there, and they nest there as well. And relative to their size too, they actually have the largest feet of any bird on the planet. Well, I'm not sure what's happened to Dad, we'll find him there in a minute. But Dad does all the caring of the chicks there. So once Mum's laid those eggs there, that's it, job done. So he does all the incubation of the eggs and then also does the caring of the chicks there too.
White flower or egg? What is it?
Yeah, so yeah, again, we'll go over and say g'day to the white-bellied seagulls up here. So they're in the tree, they're just in the tree just ahead of us here as we come around. So these are Australia's second largest bird of prey. They're second to the wedge-tailed eagle, which is our biggest bird of prey here in Australia. The Willowbore people call him Mudda-Woody. Mudda-Woody had an important role. It's when you died, it was said that he would swoop down and pick up your soul and carry it off to the dreaming, or pretty much their version of heaven, if you like. You've actually got the pair of them, which is cool. So these guys are monogamous birds, they mate for life. Sorry? Yeah, they do mate for life, yes. It was thought that for long periods there that there was the male that did all the nest building, but it is a joint affair. But there's sorry, just by looking at them, here's the Jacana dad just on the bottom of the lilies there too, just while you're looking at him.
there.
Oh, that's.
So yeah, so
Then
it
this
was
is the
thought
dad
for a
of
long
the
time it
baby,
was
the
the
chick.
male that did all the building of the nest for the seagulls there, but they do it jointly, although it is his job to do all the maintenance on the nest every year. He has to make sure the floor's good for mum, and then the curtains are up and got a new paint job. Nah, kidding about that. But if he doesn't do the best job of it there, she has been known to break the nest apart, throw it on the ground and make him start again, so, you know, got to please the missus. But we find them up here quite regularly in their pairs because, and this is my own pet theory on it, was the tree lines are much taller here. So as a result, these guys tend to find a bit more around the water environments here, because the height of the trees here not only gives them an advantage for reasons there, but while they're out there, because the skull is very thick and the brain sits quite close to the bottom of the skull plate there, they actually run the risk of overheating and they can die. So what they'll do is that they'll open their mouths like this, face the breeze, and as that breeze blows through the mouth acts like an evaporative cooler and helps keep his brain cold.
Should go down this way.
What bird is that?
Next to the croc, it's the masked blackwing, or a plover for another name. Eat it. No, the birds are interesting because while they do end up as food for the crocodiles quite regularly, they've almost got like a sixth sense, so they're all based on movement there. So if that croc had even twitched an eyelid at that point, and the bird would know about it even before he'd had a go. This is actually winter time for the crocodiles, so they spend pretty much most of their days up on the banks like this or in the water, pretty much doing what you can see it doing here, not a whole lot. They also don't have to eat much at this time of the year either, because their metabolism's slow as a result of that colder weather also. They're capable of hemispherical sleep too, so they can actually shut down one side of their brains and keep that dormant. So as you can see here, he's got his eye closed, closest to us here, but he'll keep the other side of his brain active there and the other eye will be open. once again a method to help conserve energy. But they warm themselves also through those osteoderms and then the scutes there too. So it's that piece of bone sits above the skin line there. And as a result, the blood vessels run very close to the top of the skin there. So while he's out there sunning himself, he'll flush that area with the cold blood. Distinguished by the fact that they have these large white feathers that come up the side of the body there. And then they're a slightly lighter coloured animal there too, whereas you'll find the other breed of whistling duck here being the wandering whistling duck, and that'll be a darker bird there, and the white feathers won't extend quite as far up the side of the body there. But like all duck species here, they tend to flock together in quite large numbers here. They're very social birds to start with, and then the partners also mate for life too. And it helps protect them there in this scenario too, so that if a predator comes towards them, in this case, they can disperse in a large group of feathers and noise there. And it can confuse the predator as to which one he was after. So yeah, you've got two crocodiles here as well. So you've got one in the water here, and then you've got the one up on the bank here on the right. So one on the left and the right. This is actually,
Oh yeah, it's right there.
it looks like, I saw him there earlier in the day there. So this guy on the left here is actually one of the larger males, I reckon. And this will be his lady just next to him there on the right there too. So you can only just see his head sticking out of the water there for the male there. So you just make it they're probably up here looking for the fish in these shallow waterways. So similar to what you saw that Jabiru doing there earlier. Oh, sorry, black-necked stork. You got me doing it now. So they swim around in the shallow waterways here to spook the fish or the turtles out of their hiding spots there. You'll see them turn their heads and snap at them quite easily. Yeah. So you've got the black and white ducks around you here too. Yeah, so the colour of the crocodile actually changes depending on where you find it there too. So the animals there that spend the majority of their days in the freshwater will go almost jet black in some cases there, whereas the animals you find more in the saltwater rich environments there, you'll be as yellow as a banana on occasion. And it's all a camouflage, or here in the freshwater it's a result of the tannins interacting with the skin, and it stains it over time there, but it helps them blend well. It can be only an inch or line, and you wouldn't know it was there just by looking at the water. They never run out of teeth. They can grow up to 3,000 in a lifetime there. So it's like a shark, so even if one breaks off or it gets old, they'll simply pull out another one.
Oh.
So it opened its mouth just as I walked away.
Wow, okay.
Ah, he said, yeah.
What's that? Look how longer the front one is.
Room for a lot of things in there. As I said, the diet is literally anything, including themselves. They're cannibalistic. So I'll eat all the birds, I'll eat all the fish, I'll eat all the snakes, I'll eat the turtles. I'll eat the larger animals, I'll take the pigs and the buffalo, even the horses around here. But I'll also take drunk Australians, German backpackers, the occasional Vietnamese, or anything that comes near the water. I do have an opinion though, They don't eat Australians unless they've been beer battered first, as was the case for one of the deaths there that happened a number of years ago. The guy that was celebrating his 30th birthday party, and for whatever reason he decided to, his mates dared him actually to go swimming. He made it across the first time, he just wasn't so lucky on the way back.
Look, there's waves. The boat is making the waves.
Talking of crocodiles, we hadn't seen one in about 30 seconds. There's another one swimming across the waterway here, just ahead of us there.
Oh yeah.
I'll just hold up here. He's charging in. We might see him have a give it of a go at this one on the bank here if we're lucky.
There's two.
Dingoes.
Yeah, I want to see a dingo.
So the crocodiles, they believe, are constantly communicating with one another there. They believe, and they haven't been able to prove it yet, but it's been a theory for some time now, where they think that the crocodiles, as I say, they're giving off this signal at so low frequency that only the crocodiles can pick it up. They can pick it up through not only their hearing is excellent, but also they have dermal sensors all over their bodies, which enables them to pick up very, very faint vibrations. It helps them when they're hunting in the far more muddy tidal waters. So they can basically, it's almost like a fish's lateral line at that point.
Oh, they run. Oh, that one's big.
I'll fold back. I was still hoping they'd have a brawl here, but it looks like he's given up on that particular job. Lose entire limbs, even the ends of their tails, and it'll simply heal over. They just won't develop infections. So there's a number of crocodiles throughout the Northern Territory. They've all got the same name. They call them tripod or something like that because he's missing limbs.
你背着我，你第一件事就跑去上厕所啊，上完厕所咱马上走啊，听见没？啊？
So yeah, he's pretty scary size on this bloke.
That's the other dog.
And he'll fight for his position too. So if he has another area, or he has another croc come into his area, especially if he's got the strength to do it, he'll chase them off and can occasionally kill them too in those territorial disputes. While I haven't seen this bloke kill anybody yet, there's another crocodile in the Mary River there that's gained a bit of a reputation for doing exactly that. Trying to turn himself into a weedadile, but we're not buying it.
Where did you say the pink bit was?
Sorry?
Has he got a pink bit, this one, or not?
Yeah, I can't see it there at the moment, so it might not be him, but he's still a good example of one. But it would have been on the very tip of his nose if it was pink there, but I can't see that he's got one there. It might just be on the bit that's in the water there. I'd say a good 3.5. Snake out of a tidy hole, and then they wouldn't bash it over the head with a rock or cut its head off with something. Nope. That requires you getting out of the water and requires a bit more effort. They'd actually put the whole head in their mouths and bite down on the back of the neck and give it a yank and to separate the spine from the skull. Swing it over their shoulders, keep going. that was considered women's work too, by the way. I'd hate to know what man's work looks like. Probably involves you beating a crocodile to death with your bare hands or something like that. You wouldn't catch me hunting fire snake in a pink pit.
I don't think so.
So we're just going to pull up here, folks, and we're just going to turn the engines off for a bit. And we're going to listen to the sounds of Kakadu, and we're just going to see the last of the sun go down here. Pick a nice spot for us to do that, I reckon.
Koalas.
They look a lot. Yeah, that's a pig.
Yeah.
Oh, you got binoculars.
Pig, the pigs, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're definitely pigs. Great over
Oh,
100
yeah, right.
kilos, those things.
So people go out just shooting them?
Yep.
Yeah.
We actually went down to the local watering hole and got drunk out of his head, and then at midnight he's just going, right, let's go shoot, let's go pig hunt. I wasn't there, but
Just absolutely stunning.
你想上厕所吗？
不想。
不想，要不就一会儿不上厕所了，直接手机就开车啊？还能节约10分钟，不然万一排队啊冒进。
it's your flocky whistling duck that are starting to take wing here. This is common in that sort of late evening light here. You'll start to see the birds take flight and they come out onto the more open grounds here to feed. Yeah, absolutely. They're probably waiting. Yeah, we were seeing them earlier on in the year there, but they're probably waiting.